Personal starts in 30 seconds. It's just business. This is nothing personal. Despondent. That's my nothing personal word of the night. The Oscars ended 2 minutes ago. We're live. Adnan Virk is joining me, and I came this close, Adnan. I'm talking about you can't shine a flashlight through my fingers to canceling this show.
So let's go back to a year ago. You and I had a blast hosting the Oscars show for Meadowlark. It was well received. We had juggernaut numbers. The great Ben Lyons was involved, and we did so well they didn't invite us back. So first off, thank you to you for allowing me to have this venue to at least talk about the Oscars, and we can banter a little bit. Listen, man, I'm astonished, quite frankly. There's so much to get into, winners and losers, etc. You are normally an excellent prognosticator in this realm, but you and I both were offering him, especially early. I've never gone 0 for 3 in shorts. At the final tally, I go 17 of 23. You went 14 of 23. You beat me last year. There's no question about it. But this year, I came back with a resounding blowout. This is an Adnan Virk revenge tour type win.
The worst part about this show right now is I have no retort for how bad my ballot was. Let's face some facts here. Yeah. So I released a ballot. I was so diminutive and cocksure that I do an early release of a ballot. Yeah. I'm in contests. People are copying the ballot. They're spending their hard-earned money. My own lawyer, Wayne, sorry, dude, I'll give you the $20 back, maybe. Yeah. My son-in-law, Ryan, kicked my tuchus in our family pool. I lost it for the first time, and I don't know how long. It's just been a night. I feel like Demi Moore right now.
Let's talk about that, because here's what I do love, David. I love being wrong sometimes. At least it adds an element of surprise. If they went chalk, and most of our picks were that, except for Best Picture, we'll get into in a second. But if they had gone with what felt predictable, at least the betting favorites of Demi Moore and Adrien Brody and Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin, you go, okay, 4 for 4, come on. That was, I wouldn't say a curveball, because if there was one who was going to win despite Demi Moore, it was Mikey Madison. But that was a genuine surprise. I mean, could it have happened? Yeah. Could Chalamet have won? Sure. But Mikey Madison winning, and Demi Moore, to your point, despondent, that's like Glenn Close when she lost to Olivia Colman. Like Glenn Close's 7th Oscar nomination. This is my last and best chance for the wife. I don't get it. And Demi Moore, it's like, I've never been nominated. This is my one chance. I'm in my 60s now. And by the way, what about the irony of losing? You know, the movie, The Substance, is about an older woman being phased out for a young woman. Demi Moore played a sex worker, a stripper in Striptease. Now, Mikey Madison does the similar role in Anora and then wins the Oscar. A younger, more attractive version of her. Like, Demi Moore's head must be spinning right now.
Thought that she deserved the Oscar for her reaction to Mikey Madison winning Best Actress, because she's holding her heart, she's clapping, she's glowing. Meanwhile, the guy she came with, despondent. He was looking at her like, oh, Christ, I wanted to go to the after parties. I thought it was going to be nails, and now they're like drowning their sorrows at Pizza Hut or In-N-Out with Paul Giamatti.
Yes, our boy Giamatti, absolutely. It makes me think about just, Angela Bassett when she lost for Black Panther, just stewing. Like, she was just seething. And you go, wow, just pretend, like, just play along. She's like, no, I'm not going to. I should have won. This is BS, and I'm never going to win again. What a crowning achievement for Anora. Like, David, I love the movie. I'm not sure about you. I was thrilled to see it win 5 of 6 Academy Awards in all the major categories. And what a night for Sean Baker. I mean, this is like Francis Ford Coppola, Godfather 2. My guy wins. You and I both had him winning for screenplay and directing, but neither of us had him winning for editing.
An amazing thing to think about, that the same person, editing, directing, writing, picture. So, and he directed a Best Actress.
Yeah, right.
This is someone who now has the golden ticket, and you heard him say, and they talked about it a lot throughout this award season, this was done for cheaper than you can do a documentary.
Yeah.
And they filmed it in New York City. They filmed it on location. He got a supporting actor nomination out of it. who didn't win, obviously, because Culkin was going to win. But think about what it means to independent film producers
Big time.
who are green lighting films, because big studios aren't green lighting films like Anora. And it's very difficult to get these movies made. And it was a great movie.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and you're making great points. Not only is Sean Baker a deserved winner because he's made excellent movies in the past. I personally love The Florida Project, which Willem Dafoe was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that movie. But you're right, David. He makes small movies. He just scrounges it together, whether it's Red Rocket or Tangerine. He makes his movies, and each speech was better than the other one. Like the first speech, might have been the first time ever an Academy Award winner thanked sex workers for their honesty and bravery. Later mentioned it was his mom's birthday. Give a shout out to Mom. Then had a prepared speech with the importance of going to the movie theater, something you and I still appreciate doing. I mean, every speech was better than ever, and he goes home with 4 Oscars, and a great point by you. He also directed a Best Actress winner and directed a guy who hadn't done much acting. Yura Borisov gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So Sean Baker's living large right now. Good for him.
You have to be pretty cocky to keep something in your pocket when it comes to thanking your mom on her birthday,
right,
the night of the Oscars.
Right, and that wasn't the first one. Good. You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's not your first one. You go, this is my one chance. I got to thank Mom. No, don't worry. There'll be others. I'm like, wow, you're right.
It really is amazing to watch the ceremony unfold. And I want to go back to the beginning because I had high hopes, I must say. Conan O'Brien is hosting.
Yeah.
I know they're going to do something about LA, and I love LA. Anytime you see LA Story.
I was about to say, you and I are big LA Story fans. As soon as they showed Steve Martin in the Sonic, yeah.
That means it's going to be a great show. I thought the monologue was ordinary. And then he wasted my time telling me he wasn't going to waste my time. And that's when I had a feeling.
I like the monologue more than you. I love the Amazon joke with the guy who's going to be the next James Bond. That was particularly funny. I love the joke about Lithgow, who's going to look disappointed when the speeches go too long.
Except they didn't do it.
Yeah, you correctly texted me.
On the bit.
They should have done that with Brody.
When Brody's talking, show Lithgow. You have the perfect opportunity. I think Lithgow left. I don't think he was sitting in his seat.
Once he presented his word, he was gone. But I'm with you. The song was terrible by Conan. I like the monologue, but the song, no, hang a second. And to me, this reeks of, again, self-indulgence, which we'll get to with Adrien Brody. But this is, David, I think, a host saying, hey, it's my chance. I'm going to be the host of the Oscars. I want to do a song and dance routine. That fell flat. Along with much of the musical performances, aside from Cynthia Erivo doing Defying Gravity, I thought the Queen Latifah, I mean, talk about one of the losers of the night. I respect the Queen, but at 10-12, I got to shorten that Quincy Jones tribute. Just give me Oprah and Whoopi, and let's move on.
So it's interesting. They started with Wicked. And not nominated. I can't, not an original. So, I mean, it's not an original for motion picture, but the performance, one of the best performances you will see at an award show. And you're thinking, all right, I understand why they're not having all the artists do their songs. We're going to try something different. And to me, the flow of the show just dropped after that.
Yeah, I mean, Defying Gravity is an incredible song. Most people probably like Wicked a lot more than I did. I found it a little dry, to be honest, a little long. But that song, there's no question, it's an absolute showstopper. And Cynthia Erivo is such a star. Although I did think to myself, David, am I watching the Grammys or the Oscars? Like back-to-back songs out of the gate. Like I like the monologue. I like the clips. Let's get going. But I'm with you. I like the LA montage for sure. And after that, the energy just flagged. I will say, and Coca mentioned this to our group text, the songs weren't particularly strong this year. A lot of songs that were better were not nominated. So could you imagine? This show went 3:45. Imagine if they did what they usually do, which is each original song performs. Like you'd have Elton John doing Never Too Late, Al Mal, which was the winner you and I both predicted. Thank God they just said, let's just show a quick montage and not actually have each.
Well, they sort of did, though, because you start with Wicked. They had a James Bond musical performance. That was, there are people, I must say that I'll admit it, the audience knows me and loves me for this. I was not focused on the fact that Lisa was the actress who I've been watching in The White Lotus. And I said, why do they have the woman from The White Lotus singing? It turns out she has over 100 million Instagram followers, and she's one of the biggest singers in the world. And I have never felt older. I was Demi Moore. I was just sitting there like, why is she doing this?
But think what you're saying.
It's a good get.
So there's a James Bond tribute because it's a good get. There's Wicked, even though it's not nominated, there's great songs. But you did not see the songs presented. Never Too Late, Elton John, Me Camino, Emilia Perez, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, The Journey, The 6888, and Al Mal, Emilia Perez. And speaking of losers, Diane Warren, 16 nominations. She's nominated for The Journey, The 6888, which nobody saw, did not get good reviews, Tyler Perry's movie. 16 nominations, Dave. She loses again. She has won, by the way, an honorary Oscar because the Academy realizes she's never going to win. We'll keep nominating her. Here's your pity party right here. Diane Warren loses
Here's
again.
when I knew Diane Warren had a problem. I love Diane Warren. I want to say that. She is the queen. She can write a song, but she was the first arrival on the red carpet in the pre-show. There was nothing but workers and people vacuuming the carpet. She's doing the interview, and she said, "Hey, I feel good. I have a speech in my pocket."
Oh.
And I said to myself, oy vey, it's going to stay in the pocket. Doma posh. So she'll get a chance because, you don't age out in Hollywood of writing songs. It's about the only thing you don't age out of, as we saw tonight. So I think she'll get another chance. But I believe, is she going to go down now, Coca? Is she the biggest loser in Academy Award history? Because 0 for 16 is rough. So Coca's it's very late. By the way, we're doing this, Adnan. Yeah. You know that it's just me, you, and Coca. Like last year, we had the stained carpet. We had 50 people. We had a crew. We had Ben Lyons.
Yeah, Ben Lyons was awesome.
We were rolling last year. Now, of course, just you and I. Just you and I.
And as you're singing, that dovetails perfectly to the most cringe-worthy moment of the night. El Mal wins for Emilia Perez original song, and then one of the winners just starts singing. And you think it's going to be like one line, quick little ditty. She does like 6 bars of the song.
And they didn't cut her off. And by the way, they cut off another guy who won an award.
Right.
Totally. It was like the sound mixer. Oh, he's the sound mixer. Sorry. Coca's got a stat. Wait for it. There's a sound mixer named Greg Russell who holds the record. He's been nominated 17 times, and he's 0 for 17. Although we've never heard of him, and he's got way fewer royalties than Diane Warren, which really makes him, that's a rough go.
Let's go through the actor speeches. What did you think of Kieran Culkin's speech? Stammering. He knew he was going to win. He's stammering a little bit nervous, but I thought he landed it at the end. Was pretty funny.
But that's his thing. Yeah. So to me, I've watched the entire award circuit. Culkin wins, and he does the self-deprecation. Oh, I'm ready at 30 seconds. And he sort of fiddles around. He says, oh, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. It's shtick. And as a person who loves shtick, I love it. And he saved it with a story about his wife and wanting to have more kids. Right. I thought that it was lovely. And that's when we also learned that they were going to do something different, Adnan. They tried where they introduced each of the people. They didn't call them on stage. They didn't really do big clip packages, but they had a personal statement. So Robert Downey had a personal statement about each of the nominees.
So I personally like the clips because I like being able to, as a kid, right, growing up, 1991, who are the nominees? Oh, there's Tommy Lee Jones for The Fugitive. You see the clip. I don't care. Like, this is so good. Then last year they went with the previous winners speaking about each of them, right? So 5 previous winners come out, and it was touching and dramatic, but definitely lengthens proceedings. This time they try to have it both ways. So Downey does, as you said, a personal touch. So one previous winner last year gives a word to each of the 5, but then for Best Actor and Best Actress, we went back to the general clips. So I'm curious, what do you think? I like the clips better myself, but I can appreciate the personal touch.
I'm a clip guy because I'm not buying the personal touch when the people are reading it in the monitor. And so you never know, like Divine Joy Randolph is talking about her like best friend, and she's squinting to try to read. Wait, who's the nominee again? Who am I talking about? But I'm definitely a clip guy, but I was happy for Culkin. And so you feel like that was one award tonight. Yeah. That was a sure thing. Although, frankly, I'm looking at my ballot.
Okay, let's go through. So listen, Culkin winning and Zaldana again. Zoe seemed shocked at one point. Like, I'm like, how could you be shocked? You won every single award. Everyone had you winning Best Supporting Actress. This is just actors acting and just getting caught up in the moment. Brody winning for Best Actor in a performance which, at least the outlines of it are similar to The Pianist. I understand it's a different film. I'm just pointing out there are some certain similarities, right? Holocaust survivor, beaten up, dragged. Chalamet, 5.5 years, prepares to play Bob Dylan, etc. Felt like there was a movement towards perhaps Chalamet winning, but you and I both said, no, it's going to be Brody because no actors ever just won the SAG as far as the precursors. Brody had won the BAFTA, he'd won the Golden Globe, previous winner, but he wasn't going to hurt him. But I got worried, David. Early on, when Sandler played to Chalamet and Conan kept playing to Chalamet, like, oh my God, the room loves him. It's like it's Jack Nicholson. Brody does win, though, and then gives one of the worst speeches in recent memory.
Well, let's talk about it because Brody's speech, people were upset. It was late in the night. The show was dragging. Right. I thought the beginning was really good. It was about redemption. People may remember when he won his first Oscar. He's now a 2-time Oscar winner. For The Pianist, he had the kiss with Halle Berry.
Correct.
I knew I had Brody in the bag when Halle Berry, before the show, on the red carpet, reenacts the kiss as though to say, listen, it's okay. We're good here.
Yeah.
Like there's no cancel culture. Well, that's totally gone anyway. But I'm telling you that you've been absolved and we've grown up. Brody then in the speech talks about it. And he talks about how his life has evolved and how he has perspective. I thought it was spot on. But then out of nowhere, he went 3 extra minutes. And it ruined the entire thing.
He went from classy and dignified to then selfish and arrogant. Once it was like, hey, Georgina, who, by the way, is Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife. That's who he's dating right now. Thanks her. Thanks the kids. Welcome. That's like, hey, I've been here before. I'm like, oh, hey, it's like it's told him that fine line between cocky and just kind of a prick. And it was not necessary.
It bothered me because I had spent a minute really loving him in the beginning of the speech. And when he said, listen, not my first rodeo.
Right.
I listen, I've said that expression too. That is what you say to people when you want to, peacock. And when you want to say, listen, stop right now. I've done this. You haven't.
You've said that when you fleeced other GMs. That's okay. That's a separate situation. You said this to like Dan O'Dowd or something. Like, hey, not my first rodeo, Dan.
So,
go ahead.
Let me give you one more thing on Brody.
Yeah.
So Brody now is in the Pantheon, winning 2 Best Actors.
It's offensive.
It's
offensive.
It's not offensive.
Al Pacino has 1 Best Actor Oscar winner. Robert De Niro has 1 Best Actor Oscar winner. And Adrien Brody, who after winning for The Pianist, goes on and says, what am I going to do with my life? I'll have some bit parts in Wes Anderson movies. I'll be in Peter Jackson's King Kong. I'll play Pat Riley in Winning Time. Like that's your credits? Is what you're giving me? Meantime, Al and Bob are cranking out hits. He's got 2 Best Actor winners. Go ahead. Give me the list of guys who've done it.
I would like to point out to you that I don't view The Brutalist as a Holocaust survivor movie. I think it's a lazy take. I think that I understand it's a 3.5-hour movie and you got to really sit there and think about it.
Right.
But it's not. The Pianist was truly about that experience.
Right.
This is not. If someone says, is Brutalist a Holocaust movie, the genre of Holocaust movies, I'm going to say no, it's not that. It is about an immigrant coming to America and understanding the rules of engagement when you're trying to be in business in America. And Brody's performance, it was an epic movie. And I happen to love The Brutalist. I thought it was outstanding, and I thought he was outstanding and well-deserving. Chalamet's going to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
He's going to do it. But he campaigned hard.
Yes.
I have him as one of my biggest losers of the night.
Yeah.
Because he was there to win. And I loved his speech at SAG, by the way. Did you love that?
Unabashed. It was so great. I was like, how can anyone criticize this? And he said it with, like, he was self-aware. I was like, hey, I know you're not supposed to say this, but I did this for 5.5 years of dedicated month. This means everything to me. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate authenticity and genuine emotion. Team Timmy.
And he was definitely on the circuit trying to, and this is what you want. The irony is that we watch all the other award shows. And the truth is, it's like winning important regular season games. It's fun. It's not terrible. Winning the wild card round, you sort of celebrate a little bit. You feel good about yourself. But guess what? The only thing people remember is the ring. That's it. Otherwise, you've lost later than the other people. And that's how I view the Oscars. And so for me, Timothy, great performance, great movie, but nope, won't be remembered for this. He'll be remembered when he wins an Oscar for another motion picture.
Yeah, if Anora is one of the biggest winners of the night, winning 5 of 6 Oscars, one of the biggest losers is a complete unknown. I mean, I believe it was shut out overall. Even The Substance, a big loser. You win 1 Oscar for makeup and hairstyling. Let's get to Best Picture, because I had a feeling about Anora. It won the PGA Producers Guild Award, but I was worried about Conclave, which you picked. It had won the BAFTA, and it won the SAG on Best Ensemble. Why was it you thought Conclave would pull it off? Because I felt younger viewers, younger Academy people, they're going to push for Anora, which they did.
So it used to be that directing and picture, they were tied at the hip. And that you wouldn't separate them, and they didn't separate. In recent years, there have been more separations, though. Last year, we saw Nolan. We saw, things like that. That was a runaway looking back at last year. I felt that when Conclave, the reason I did the pick is when Conclave won the SAG, I felt as though they were going to give Baker directing, but I really thought Conclave, and I still think Conclave was a motion picture with more gravitas than Anora. And I think the Academy got stuck thinking to itself, we're so highfalutin. Let's try to be more about the people. And we can be about a small movie. We can be about a movie theater. We can be about sex workers instead of the Pope. And I thought Conan's joke, by the way, about Conclave may have been the joke of the night. when he said it's about Catholics.
Oh, yeah.
Not that. I thought, and he waited a beat, a nod to Spotlight, a nod to all the pedophilia that goes on. I thought that was sex workers and pedophilia in one night, Adnan. Not terrible.
And that's the thing. My sister-in-law was like, "Oh, Anora wasn't that good." I go, "Are you kidding? It's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a social critique, and finally, it's a tragedy. Like, that's a hell of a movie. Like, I just think in content alone, it's wildly unpredictable, and it goes in so many different directions. It's got breakthrough performances. But you're right. Even on a larger level, the Academy appreciates, hey, this is an independent film. This guy really cares about movies in theaters. He's a respected director, still youngish, obviously fresh face, but he's making movies for a while. Brady Corbet will get his chance later with The Brutalist, which I'm with you. It's a big, bold movie. One of my favorite Oscar winners of the night was The Brutalist for both cinematography and score. How good is that score by Daniel Blumberg, winning in a rout?
People forget about score and what it does to a movie. And I was taught this by somebody in the industry, Adnan. And I'm not telling you, not because I don't want to tell you, because I don't remember. But it was someone, it may have been someone at UTA. Somebody just said, try watching a movie one time without a score.
Yeah.
Just just watch it. And you have to get a certain cut of it in order to see it without the score. It's crazy what a score does to the way you interact with a movie. And The Brutalist was an unbelievable example of that. And that's why it was just a runaway.
Yeah, like an overture. And Guy Pearce himself had said, like, when they asked him, do you know how special the movie was? He goes, honestly, it wasn't until I heard the score. Because he goes, I saw a bit of the rough cut. And I was like, okay, I see what Brady's going for. It has this epic sweep. Once the score came in, it was amazing. Speaking of score, so here's what happened with you and me head to head. We're both tracking on the same way. And then you text and said, listen, documentary, this is critical. I said, okay, documentary short. And I kept kicking myself, Dave. I said, I should have picked Incident, which you did. And I went, I Am Ready, Warden. Both of us went very serious subject matters. And instead, the only girl in the orchestra wins. Like, okay, they went light. But then this was the key moment of the night. Documentary feature. Porcelain War, Ukraine. Again, heavy topic. I'm going No Other Land, Israeli-Palestinian Collective. And No Other Land wins. This is a film that is yet to get U.S. distribution. Now it will get that because it won. But that turned the tide. That I wouldn't say it gave me the victory, but that finally gave me a daylight to get ahead of you. Yeah,
that one hurt. Here's what I thought. My thought process behind not going with No Other Land is I thought there was Gaza fatigue, is what I would describe it as. That they just wouldn't want that to be highlighted. And we have a Ukraine that we can still. That was a big deal. Remember a few Oscars ago, it may have been last year. Was it only last year?
It was last year.
Oh God, it's been a lifetime since last year when that was the cause of the day. And of course, it's still going on very much in the news with what happened at the White House just a few days ago. But I just thought they wouldn't want to do it. And, you know, the speech is right up there on the line, in my opinion. And you really have to understand where sort of the left is and where the right is as it relates. And people on the right aren't watching the Oscars. They're not happy with Hollywood. And that speech is a very confirmation bias about why there's a divide in the country on the issue.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you and I both know the Oscars are always but something political. You know, you go back all the years of Michael Moore, et cetera. And as far as pro-Palestine winners, Vanessa Redgrave was blacklisted after 1970. It didn't go over well. So I'm with you. I was curious why you didn't go No Other Land, but I understood your reasoning. It was like, it's such a hot button topic. There's still going to be some aversion to it. You can still support the other war movie. And the other documentaries like Black Box Diaries is about sexual assault. I mean, this was a heavy category. All the documentaries were definitely something that was intense.
They were good, Adnan. I mean, yeah. I thought there were the categories of that and international feature. I thought just the movies were good, both documentary, international feature. And you got me both times on that. I was shocked that Emilia Perez did not win Best International Feature. I was disappointed in that. I thought it was a great movie, and it really got torpedoed by what happened. They had all the nominations, 13 nominations. They only won twice. And, you know, going 2-11 is less than ideal, but I didn't have them winning that many, but I certainly had them winning international feature.
That really was the key in the head-to-head, because you're right. That documentary feature, I got you No Other Land, which was a slight favorite over Porcelain War. You were going on a hunch, and then I went on the hunch international feature, and I thought to myself, well, I'm still hearing Emilia Perez are both nominated for Best Picture. Emilia Perez has got supporting actress in the bag, and I believe it will get song, but they want to give I'm Still Here something. And it's a powerful film. Again, for those who haven't seen it, Fernanda Torres won the Golden Globe for Best Actress. So that's why it's like it's got a little bit of momentum there. So you're right, that was a key victory there for me as far as the head-to-head was concerned. I'm Still Here, which I think is a worthy movie. But I hear you on Emilia Perez. It's weird. When you look back now, it's going to be remembered more for the controversy about Carlos Sofia Gascon's tweets, and Conan making mention of it in the monologue, camera cutting right to her. She had to know it was coming, making a joke with the publicist. But this was a movie when the nominations came out, everyone said, "Oh, that's the front runner, right? It's got 11 nominations." No, it was one of the biggest losers of the night.
I was surprised. One thing, if you go back and look at the tape of the awards ceremony, when they did focus on her after Conan's joke, where he made a joke about the only one more upset is her publicist. The only one who said the F word more is her publicist. And then they went to her and he said, just tweet that I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I thought I saw her say, who's that? Or what did he say? Like there was some sort of response that she leaned over to who she was with, like, wait, should I laugh? Like, what's my response supposed to be? It's been the worst Oscar campaign in history.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing statement to say.
If they could have rescinded the nomination, they would have. And again, the winners, the ballots were cast February 11th to February 18th. So for those who said, oh my gosh, Chalamet's going to win because his SAG speech was so good. No, it was too late. It came out February 23rd. By then, the votes had already been cast. But in the case of Carlos Sofia Gascon, you got to think, you and I both know the world of PR, like moving forward, they're going to say, listen, let's check through as thoroughly as possible your social media, anything that could derail this campaign. It absolutely crushed Emilia Perez.
But I'm looking back. We've had players before who have had bad tweets. Josh Hader had bad experience with tweets.
Yep.
There are actors. Wasn't it Kevin Hart who was going to host something? And was it the Oscars?
It was the Oscars,
And then he had bad tweets in his past. You know, at some point you say to yourself, but these were not just totally in history. These were some current day issues. Yeah. But I don't agree with one bad apple. It's the story where you look at all people in police and say they're all bad because there's someone who is a horrible person.
Right.
I just don't think you blame the entire movie because of the actions of one of the actors in the movie.
No, it's fair to say, because you're right. The rest of the movie was acclaimed. It was original. You know, for someone who says, what's the point of the movie? Well, when's the last time you saw a movie about a Latino drug lord who has a sex change operation, then wants to see her children, and it's a musical, and it's directed by a Frenchman? Like, in terms of pure audacity, you've never seen a movie like Emilia Perez.
And by the way, it's a total redemption story for the character who's a cold-blooded cartel member who then transitions to be a woman and then wants to save lives and help families be reunited with the people that he killed finding bodies. It has all of the makings. It had unbelievable performances, and I don't know why Selena was getting hate over the performance. I thought it was terrific. Yeah. And so I've stood by Emilia Perez, but I'm done. Like, I got Zoe, I got the best song, but once it lost international feature, I was so angry that I just decided to stop texting you.
One of the good thing about you is you're on it early because I don't know what's happening. And at that point, you're like, it's over. You've already canceled. Like, what? Like, you're the guy who's already throwing in the towel. I'm like, wait, I can already start celebrating. It's over. Like, it's done. Shout out to
I'll go back to my, let me just go back to my son-in-law. When I said, by the way, you win, he was like, I'm not counting my chickens until they're hatched. I said, dude, they're hatched.
I've done the math.
Like, look at the damn ballot. It's done. It's written in stone. You win. And then, of course, he celebrated the win. And then Mikey Madison crushed us all. But anyway, sorry.
I just want to mention Dune Part 2 wins for visual effects and sound. Shout out to noted Canadian director Denis Villeneuve. I thought it was a great film. And also production design. Again, Wicked does win for that. It does win for costume design. So at least it gets something out of the mix. How about Nosferatu? A film that Mike Ryan loved, I enjoyed, and you both loved and hated.
I did both love it and hate it because Mike Ryan makes me do things that I don't want to do. And he also has me watch movies I don't want to watch. And I watched this movie a little bit with my sort of hand over my eyes, where I'd lift my eyes a little bit. It was good to see Lily Rose Depp come on stage with the best costumes. I enjoyed that with John Lithgow. But in any case, I thought the movie was terrific. But its win was its nominations. Yeah. We had that feeling. They were not going to win in any category, but just the presence there, I think, is a win.
Absolutely. And that's a film that's done very well at the box office. Good for Robert Eggers, who's a very unique filmmaker. The fact that people are actually watching Nosferatu back in theaters. I feel like if you and I had to pick one movie which kind of describes us, you know, I could go with A Real Pain or Complete Unknown, be self-deprecating like Conan. But no, I'm going to go to live action short, The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. That is both the David Samson and that Virk story.
Hold on. Speak for yourself. I can listen often. How many times does Dan Levitard say, Adnan, slow down?
No, that's true. He's always on my case about that.
He called me today and he said, are you guys doing the pre-show? I said, what?
I'm waiting for you guys in the parking lot. When are you coming?
We're sitting there at the Elser. The lights are on, but no one's home, baby. We're just doing the post show. I love the surprise presenters. I love
Billy
the fact
Crystal.
that the red carpet is covered. Let's start with the first surprise was Mick Jagger.
Yeah, great.
Mick Jagger shows up on stage. First of all, there's something weird. The guy did he star in that movie Don't Die? The story of that real life guy who wants to live till he's 120. I just reviewed it on Dan's show.
I don't think so, no.
How old is Mick Jagger?
He's got to be in his 70s. I think 78.
Oh, I think he's in his 80s.
There's no way. He's still singing a Satisfaction.
He's 81, Adnan.
He looks incredible for 81.
He looks like he did. Is he the type of guy who looked older at 50?
Yeah.
Like, did he look 80 at 50? So now once he's 80, he still looks great?
Correct. It's like our guy Steve Martin with the white hair. He looked older, but now he looks great.
Exactly. So Mick Jagger shows up. So I'm thinking we're going to have some special surprises. And of course, the biggest issue that confronts the producer of the Oscars is who to have announce Best Picture. Right. It is the great honor. And sometimes it is rumored before, if not released, when Jack Nicholson's going to do it. They will when Nicolas Cage, they're going to give it some attention. This time we had no idea. And out comes Harry and Sally, Meg Ryan, Billy Crystal, who were having a moment. They had a Super Bowl commercial, and now they do Best Picture at the Oscars. I believe what they're saying is we need some younger people. We're going to do something that has some buzz, but we can't have another Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway situation.
That's also true. And I love that Conan was classy in saying the greatest Oscars host of all time. And Billy Crystal gets to come out there. I'm with you. Surprise winners, people haven't seen in a long time. It's always classy to see them involved with the whole proceedings. I love Scorsese getting a cameo in that Conan commercial. That was great. Just tell him Marty sent you. How about the in memoriam? You and I always like to discuss who's going to be the last one. How are they going to handle Gene Hackman? And he got truly top billing, David, because Morgan Freeman goes out there just to say a few words about Gene Hackman before the entire
I was blown away by that. So I assumed there's a thing where they cut the in memoriam, they put it in the can, they have music that's to it, it's all timed out. So if you croak too late and too close to the ceremony, you're screwed. You're not going to make it in. They're going to figure out some other way. Maybe it'll wait till next year. There's sort of a 2 or 3 day period. So I thought Hackman died early enough after getting rigor mortis for 9 days, but I thought he died early enough to make it into the in memoriam. But then Morgan Freeman comes out and does a whole thing. I thought that was because they didn't have time to get him in.
I thought the same thing. They can't get the video in. Well, at least we'll acknowledge him. Gene gets top billing, so to speak. Here's everybody else who died.
And then all of a sudden, James Earl Jones is the final. He becomes Farrah Fawcett. Farrah Fawcett had her moment when she died. And then a few hours later, Michael Jackson. That's it.
Yeah.
Off the cover of People. No one talks about it. Michael Jackson dies. You're an afterthought. And James Earl Jones, who I wanted to have the final tile. I mean, who thinks of these things but people who are obsessed with death? And yes, that's me. I thought James Earl Jones would get it. I was surprised that Donald Sutherland was just a middle of the pack quick soundbite.
Yeah, for years, Donald Sutherland was that guy who was like the best actor, never nominated even for a best actor Oscar. It was crazy. Like Ordinary People wins Best Picture. He wasn't even nominated for his performance. That was always like a trivia. Who's the best actor? Never been nominated. Donald Sutherland should have got a little bit more love. He was obviously a great actor, even in smaller films like Backdraft or smaller parts, I should say. It was still a very successful movie. But yeah, I'm glad James Earl Jones got his due. I'm with you. I always like seeing people you don't necessarily recognize or think about. Emmett Walsh is a great character actor. Was in the Coen Brothers movie Blood Simple. Got him a little bit of love there as well. But yeah, I'm glad that they definitely got Gene in there. And Morgan Freeman's comments were generally heartfelt.
Does it ever happen to you that when you see people in memoriam, you say, oh my God, I didn't remember they died?
Yeah.
Because it happens every year, which is the purpose of it. So it does its job. I totally forgot that Louis Gossett Jr. died. Yeah. Who I want, an Oscar winner from Officer and a Gentleman, a great character. If you haven't seen that, and about 51% of our audience may be too young to know an Officer and Gentleman. I'd love it to be like 65%, but I'm working my way to that.
Yeah.
But Officer and Gentleman is a great movie, and his performance was fantastic.
Agree. Richard Gere, 1983. I thought you were going to say sometimes you see someone go, wait, I thought he already died before. Like, I thought it was one of those reactions. Like, I thought he died 5 years ago. No, he just died this year. Oh, okay.
So that happened, and now I want to just go back. I want to do a recap right now.
Sure.
Of the show. I just want to give everyone an opportunity who's joining this. Thank you for staying up late. Adnan, thank you for doing this,
Appreciate
for
it, Dave.
staying up and being a part of this. I do appreciate it. Next year, when I'm going to do a little Seder thing, because it's almost Passover, what you say at the end of a Seder is next year in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim.
Right.
So, because you want to be with family, you want to do it in Israel. I'm going to say to you, next year in Miami, the stained carpet, we will be back.
What's your confidence level in this? Because you know that Dan wanted it to get done. Again, we don't need to get into inner machinations of it, but Dan likes us. He wanted us to do it. It was successful. It didn't happen. Yet you remain resolute that it's going to happen next year.
Let's just say that I was sure that I wasn't going to lose to you tonight. I didn't think there was any scenario where I would have 14 out of 23 and you would beat me 17-14. So I am way more sure that I'll see you next year in Miami than I was that I'd win the ballot. But guess what? I didn't win the ballot. You kicked my tuchus. 17-14, Adnan. I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it.
But as you said, Dave, this, I think, helps us getting the round 3, right? This is like a boxer. All of a sudden, you took care of Bears, narrow decision last year. I come back to we got to have round 3 now. This is Rocky 3. Yeah, this has Rocky 3 has. I get to be Mr. T. This has to happen. Ben Lyons will be involved. You made a lot of discussion last year how Ben Lyons only received $600 for his appearance, a relative pittance. Hopefully he'll get more
next year. It's going to be down to 200 if I'm in charge. How can you be Mr. T? I actually have holes in my ears for earrings. Do you have those?
I don't. I do not. So actually,
then how can you be Mr. T?
By the way, you mentioned at one point Gal Gadot, one of the well-dressed of the night.
Was he called by Nick Offerman, who was the announcer?
Incredible.
Did he say Gal Gadot?
Yes.
Do I have her last name wrong?
No, you're right. Gal Gadot is correct, and he screwed it up. And he did a great job. He's got great voice. He was an unconventional choice, like Nick Offerman's doing it. But he went with the Gal Gadot.
It's not as bad as John Travolta, but I thought it was pretty brutal. And of course, because it was Nick Offerman, I thought that I had it wrong the whole time. And that her name is Gal Gadot, but I checked it with Coca. That was a mistake. Almost as bad as Margaret Qualley doing a dance.
So what happened that Margaret Qualley, listen, she's having a moment as well. Andy McDowell's daughter. I mean, she's all over the substance. She's naked in like 2 films this year. She's clearly out there. Her just showing up singing the James Bond.
She had prosthetics, Adnan.
Okay, but I'm just saying, why is she singing? I don't know. Why do I need Margaret Qualley? She's everywhere.
I think she was dancing. All right, let me do a recap. We're supposed to do a recap. Coca's losing his mind. We have another live show tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Coca's had enough.
And Coca's had enough. So we need to do a 5-minute recap. And I want to do biggest winner, biggest loser. I want to start with that. And I'll give you a minute to think. Yeah. And I'm going to go, my biggest winner. I'm sorry to take this from you. It's
Baker.
Anora.
Yeah, exactly.
Anora is the biggest winner of the night, winning he himself, getting 3 Oscars in editing, writing, and directing, his movie getting Best Picture, and Mikey Madison getting Best Actress. It is clear that Anora was the biggest winner of the night.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I'll be even more specific and mention Mikey Madison, who's had, just this is really her moment. It was great and poor. Better Things, the show. And I love the fact Sean Baker acknowledged Tarantino when he won. He goes, Quentin, I love your work. And by the way, there would be no Mikey Madison without you. So thanks for casting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is something that people do forget. So I think that was definitely one of the bigger wins of the night. I mean, obviously, it's Sean Baker in a row. The fact that this guy's going home with 4 Oscars, he does set a record in terms of that category. And I do think Adrien Brody's the big winner of the night. And in addition to The Brutalist, the fact that The Brutalist was, again, a movie made in VistaVision, which is something they used in the 1950s. Brady Corbet is a former actor turned director. If Anora is the biggest winner of the night, The Brutalist still did very well. To be able to say we got Best Actor, Best Score, and Best Cinematography,
they're not
still feels pretty good.
At all. Yeah, tell me, who's your biggest loser?
I'm going to say, God, I think it's a complete unknown, because their one chance was Timothée Chalamet, and he doesn't win it. So a complete unknown, 8 nominations, over.
I'm going to say the biggest loser of the night, and I love her. I love her so much, but Demi Moore. I think that she expected to win. I think this was her moment, and she had some great speeches along the way, but this was going to be the crowning achievement of a career. And when you St. Elmo's Fire, About Last Night, you go back and then you look at Indecent Proposal, and you just go through her career, and this was her time, and I felt for her, but I still have to say that she's got to be the biggest loser of the night.
Demi less in this instance rather than Demi Moore. I mean, that was, and you're because this is the moment, right? She never got nominated before. This is your one chance. She's not going to get another nomination. We all know that. The Substance, by the way, is like it's so shocking it got this much attention. Like this is a horror movie which is gruesome and grimy. And when Mike Ryan recommended it to us, I was like, I'm not sure about this. And you don't like these types of movies, so it was like the fact it got this many nominations is remarkable. But as you said before,
it got the open, Adnan.
Yeah,
Conan opened the show coming out of Demi Moore's body.
Yeah, like you're getting
That's the prime real estate.
Give her a retroactive Oscar for Disclosure is one of the comments we're getting right now. But no, this is you're right. She's one of the biggest losers of the night. That's a tough one for Demi. She's never going to win now. That's it. Tough luck.
Don't say that. All right, number one takeaway. Takeaway of the night as we close a year of movies, which I have loved. I want you to put a bow. You start, I'll finish. What is the bow you will put on this year of movies?
Well, it's a great sign for independent film because that's what Anora was. This was truly an independent movie made by Sean Baker, which he's really passionate about. He goes, it was $6 million. We used every single one of those dollars to make a movie which was authentic and lived in, as I said before, a comedy, a drama, a tragedy. It's a wonderful, beautiful film. And also The Brutalists, which is an independent film financed by Brady Corbet, a story about an epic, about an immigrant, the rise and fall. Guy Pearce, by the way, one of the biggest winners of the year. I love him. Finally got his first Academy Award nomination. He's so great in The Brutalists for Best Supporting Actor. Those are a couple of big winners there. And I just think, as you said, cinema in general, it really did well. My biggest loser, by the way, in addition to just the year itself, the runtime. The whole point of 7 p.m. Eastern, David, was they know the Oscars goes 3.5 hours, sometimes 4 hours. So it used to always start at 8 o'clock Eastern and then go till midnight. Everyone's like, oh my God, wait for your late local news, etc. So they move it to 7. And the thought is, okay, even we're hoping for 3 hours, but even if it's 3.5, 10:30 is still reasonable. But this 10:45, I know maybe it sounds like I'm quibbling over 15 minutes, but it felt bloated, right?
It's less actually. Okay. And hold on, let's get some stats. We were together last year.
Yeah.
I believe last year ended around 10:32 to 10:34.
Okay. So this year was a longer show.
This was about 10:43. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But let's not go crazy. I thought the elements of the show dragged.
Okay.
And that made it feel worse, but it caught up quickly at the end. And the stream said it would end at 10:32.
So it only went 10 minutes over by that logic.
10 or 11 minutes over. And Brody himself was 40% of the overage. So just keep in mind that is a big factor.
Okay, what happened with Hulu then? Apparently the Hulu feed crashed. That's one of the biggest losers of the night.
So I want to say that my takeaway from the year in movies and my takeaway from the show, we heard people talk about movie theaters, the importance of going to the movies. Mm-hmm. It starts with Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible saying, I'm going to put movie theaters on my back. I'm going to demand a theatrical release, and you must see my movie on a big screen. What we learned today, when you hear an independent person, a person who's making small movies, small budgets, talk about the importance of movie theaters, that is the lifeblood of the industry that you and I love so much. Yeah. And that lifeblood is being torn apart by the very commercial that Conan had in the show, trying to convince people to go to a theater. That was the theme of the show. It was getting people back post-COVID because the destruction of the revenue structure of the film business has been severe since COVID. And it was starting, and now it's been severe. So my takeaway is that they're quality movies that studios are afraid to green light. And I hope that the winners of the Oscars this year, the quality of the movies and the size of them, will allow studio executives to be more brave in their choices.
It's well said. I mean, I talked to Barry Jenkins years ago, and Moonlight came out. And of course, we all know Moonlight won Best Picture. And he said the problem is movies either made for $100 million or $200 million or $1 or $2 million. We've lost that mid-level movies like Quiz Show that we loved, or movies of Sling Blade, those great indie movies. We've lost that. Thank God for A24 and Neon, two of those studios which do still make those independent films and give people those outlets.
Adnan, I appreciate that you've done this.
David, this was awesome.
Thank everyone who joined us. Enjoy, go to the movies, go to theaters, or buy movies online. Make sure you're supporting movies and not stealing the stream. Support everything that we do. Adnan, Virk, keep doing NHL, MLB start. We didn't even talk about baseball.
We don't need to talk baseball right now. We got to March 27th, opening day. 25 days away. No.
Can you stop that? Opening day is March 18th.
Listen,
March 18th, the Dodgers and Cubs play.
As you know, I get my I get my marching orders from up top, so they keep telling me March 27th.
Why do they do that? The count on their Twitter has countdown to opening day of March 27th, and we just finished saying how important the Fox deal is, how important it is that they're showing the Tokyo games, and it's totally ignored. What am I missing?
Right. People think it's like a spring training game, some sort of international friendly, like it's soccer.
A real game.
Right. It is a real game.
March 18th. We're days away. Adnan, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining. I love your rate. I love your opinions. And I will say this, that congratulations.
Yes.
My fingers and toes are crossed right now because I don't mean it.
It takes a big man to admit when he's wrong.
I was wrong this year, and I apologize to everybody, except there was no contest to beat me. We'll bring that back next year as well. Thank you, Adnan.
Round 3. Let's go, David. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right.